Hey there YouTube, it's been a minute since I've made a knife video, but I did get this package in today from Indiana Knives, so I thought I would open it up and share with you what I have received. I'm going to open this with the MagnaCut Native 5 Salt from Spyderco. And it is another Salt Series Spyderco, this time a sprint run of the Catcherman in LC200N. This is a larger knife, over 4 inches, but with a very thin blade. Could work as a folding fillet knife. Let's see what Spyderco has to say about it. All right, so the first paragraph there is just telling us that this is a sprint run knife and telling us what a sprint run is. It's a limited production knife from Spyderco. It will not be sold again once it sells out of its production run. Then we get a paragraph about the Catcherman. Originally released in 1992, the Catcherman was a purpose-designed folding fillet knife. Its long, sweeping blade was ground extra thin for flexibility and was mated to a lightweight fiberglass reinforced nylon FRN handle that had an integral pocket clip. An instant classic, the Catcherman was a mainstay of the Spyderco line for many years before being discontinued. Today, original Catcherman knives are highly prized collector's items. So, and then it tells us about this particular limited edition one, which is the LC200N blade steel, the green FRN handle with the old school volcano grip and integral clip. So you'll notice that it says "Clip It Catcherman" there on the handle. Clip it. And so Spyderco was a pioneer in the knife industry for putting pocket clips on their knives, which seems like a pretty obvious thing to do now, but you know, if you look back before the 90s, knives generally didn't have any kind of pocket clip unless it was some kind of a custom job. And Spyderco changed that. And so they were really proud of these clips that they started integrating into their knives. And they branded all of their knives the Clip It. This is the Clip It Endura, and there was a Clip It Delica, and this, of course, is the Clip It Catcherman. And they had these patented integral pocket clips, and a lot of them, if you find knives from this era, a lot of these are broken off at this point. Spyderco did offer for a while, maybe they still do, I don't know, a service where you could have a metal pocket clip bolted on to replace this if it broke off. But it was integral. And then the other thing that you'll notice about the Catcherman, which is also sort of an old school Spyderco design, sorry, I keep bumping the camera, is that it's got this sort of raised area here. You see that on this old Endura from the 90s as well. Gives it extra girth and strength for the pivot. There are no liners in this. It's just FRN. So I believe that the purpose of that is just to give it more rigidity and strength. Now an Endura is not a small knife, but just to give you a sense of scale, there it is compared to the Catcherman. And you can see it's a good deal longer, this Catcherman knife. In the serrated area, which has that same pattern, one big serration and two small serrations, repeating, it's just a small part of the blade. It's about 1 inch. So you still have quite a bit of plain edge, which is going to be useful to a lot of people. A lot of people prefer the plain edge, but having serrations can be useful sometimes. So this is a combo edge, just like this Endura is a combo edge, but the Endura is about 50-50, whereas the Catcherman is much more heavily weighted toward the plain edge. Very thin blade stock, and my understanding is that the way this knife came to be, this sprint run, is that Spyderco received some blade steel, some stock, that was too thin for them to use for the knives that they had intended to produce, but it was appropriate thickness that they could make this Catcherman out of it, and so they fired up this old design and put out this sprint run. Now this has the volcano grip, the same exact grip pattern as this old Endura from the 90s, which is quite a bit different than the bidirectional texture that you see on things like the Native 5, lightweight, or salt in this case. And it's even different than other volcano grip patterns that you see on salt models, like this Atlantic salt. It's larger squares and greater definition in the Catcherman. So the Salt series, if you're not familiar, includes a lot of knives. There's the this is the Atlantic salt. Here is a Pacific salt. We have that Native 5 salt. We have the Caribbean, right? All of these knives are designed to be pretty much impervious to rust, not just in the blade steel. This is H1. These are now being made with H2, which is basically the same thing, which is utterly rust proof. And then we've got LC200N on knives like the Caribbean and the Catcherman, which is not as impervious to rust as H1, but it's pretty darn resistant to rust. You're not really going to experience any rust with LC200N. Same goes for MagnaCut. MagnaCut is very well balanced steel, but it's extremely stain resistant. So these are the three steels that Spyderco is, well, H2, LC200N, and MagnaCut are the three steels that Spyderco is currently using in their salt line of knives. But in addition to having those blade steels, those rust-proof blade steels, Spyderco on their salt line makes these knives so that they are impervious to rust internally. All the hardware is very rust resistant. They don't have liners that are going to rust, and generally they're a good option for people working in maritime environments, including saltwater, This is not a review video. I'm just unboxing this thing and taking a first look at it. But I will hopefully be able to review it soon. I'm planning to go fishing with my son this weekend, although he is a little bit under the weather, so we might have to postpone. But I hope to actually put this knife to use with some fishing tasks in the near future. And I will share those with you when I'm able to. All right, thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you'll see lots more knives. Bye-bye.